Welcome to Jank Play TCG. My name is Landon, and here we play Jank. However, today I'm going to be going over the latest patch notes for the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live, because I feel like it's important to stay on top of the new stuff that is coming into the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live. Now, this patch did go live on Wednesday, and you've seen two matches from me between Wednesday and today, where I actually played in the new patch. So you might see some of these changes come through in those two matches already. But I still wanted to get this video out just to inform people what is going on with the development of the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live app. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I do want to start off by saying that the Hisuian Zoroark, actually I have this GameStop promo here, this one is still banned. As well as, I believe it was a Galarian Slowking, or maybe it was a Galarian Slowbro. One of those two is still banned as well, due to issues with the cards. So, let's go through what is new with the Pokemon Trading Card Game Live. They unbanned Furisode Girl? I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's this card, where you search your deck for a basic Pokemon, put it onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. You may switch that Pokemon with your active Pokemon. Not exactly a great supporter, but I'm glad that it's back in the game. Just not real sure what decks would be playing this. Something that needs to stall a lot would probably want something like this. Something that needs to recycle a Pokemon a lot might want to play this. You know, they use Ordinary Rod, put it back in your deck, and then you play this down, so you put it onto the bench, switch into the active, and then you can stall with that Pokemon again. Not 100% sure why you'd want this card, but it is still an option if you want it. If you're not ready with an attacker and you want to get Jinx into the active so their Pokemon V hits it, knocks it out, and doesn't take a prize, I mean, that is an option, but I don't think that's a great option for your supporter when you're not setting up, you know? So I'm not sure if that's great to plan on that. But, you know, who knows? So let's keep going down this list. Highlights. Fixed an issue where ladder reward item images sometimes do not show up when collecting them. Okay, a very cosmetic bug, but glad it's fixed. Fixed an issue where players were not able to close the discard pile if the only cards with abilities that can be activated are in it. That's good. Sounds like it was forcing a certain interaction that you may not want to trigger yet. So, glad they fixed that. Fixed an issue where quickly interacting with the opponent's prize cards caused their position numbers to appear. Okay, I don't think that's a very major bug, very minor graphical thing, but yeah. On the desktop client, updated the game board effects per Pokemon type. Now, if you did watch my previous two matches, you will have seen that, and honestly, I kind of like it, but I still think they need to work on those visuals a little bit. So Cobalion from Silver Tempest fixed an issue with the follow-up attack where players were not able to select energy to attach. I have had a Swords of Justice deck built since Silver Tempest came out, and they finally got around to fixing that. That's only half the problem, but they fixed the other half later on. So I can start testing that deck to see if I want to bring it to you guys. Maybe that'll be tomorrow's deck, or maybe it'll be the other deck that I'm building, which involves a certain electric ghost Pokemon that I really like, and a viewer commented their deck list, and I used the guts of that, but I really changed it up to my own liking. So maybe that will be tomorrow's video. I don't know. We'll find out. I haven't decided yet. Okay, next up we've got Altaria from Silver Tempest. There was an Altaria in Silver Tempest. Fixed an issue with the magical echo attack where players had to manually move the total damage in increments of 10. Okay, I think I actually played against this. I want to pull up the Altaria real quick. Oh, I gotta change it to all. Yeah. Was it this one? No. This one. Here we go. Let me show you guys. Watch out. So the Magical Echo attack, 2 colorless energy, move all damage counters from one of your benched Pokemon to your opponent's active Pokemon. So you would have to move it 10 increments at a time. That sounds very needless because it's not up to all the damage counters. It's just flat out all. So, no matter how many damage counters are on your bench Pokemon, all of them get switched. So you really just need to select the bench Pokemon, and then it should just move to the active because you don't have to select a Pokemon on that side. So glad they fixed that. It sounds very tiring the way that it was. Let's go back. So Keldeo, Silver Tempest. So this is the second half of that deck issue I was talking about. Fixed an issue with the 4-as-1 attack where the additional damage was not being applied under the correct conditions. Yeah, that was very annoying during testing. Like, the follow-up, I could kind of work around. The AI's pretty terrible, but not using the 4-as-1 attack just completely nerfed the deck. So now that it's fixed, I'll have to test that out and find out how good it is. Regidrago V-Star. Okay, that's interesting because that one, I didn't notice any issues, and I had played against it quite a lot. So let's find out what they fixed. Fixed an issue where the Apex Dragon attack could copy other Apex Dragon attacks more than 2 times up to the number of Regidrago V-Star in the discard pile. Beautiful! Why'd they fix it? That's perfect. Like, does the card text actually restrict that? Regidrago V-Star, no, it does not. So they shouldn't technically have fixed that. I'm glad they did because it'll speed things up. But it is hilarious that you could use Apex Dragon to use Apex Dragon to use Apex Dragon to use an attack. Oh man, that's funny. All right, let's get back to this. Adjusted the pricing of the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection. Was it super cheap and I missed out on it? If it was, that's too bad. Not that I really care. Charizard's kind of the worst Gen 1 starter. Fight me in the comments. Go ahead. I dare you. Sorry, I've been watching a comedian recently. Randy Feltface. Hilarious. Alright, so cards. Hisuian Voltorb. Fixed an issue with the Cheerful Charge attack where the deck search occurred before the benched Pokemon selection. Oh, okay. I don't think that's too big of a deal. Although I guess you could maybe, like, select 2 energy and then select 1 benched. I forget if that worked like that. Heterine V fixed an issue on desktop client where using the horoscope attack can cause the game to become unresponsive under certain conditions. Interesting that only occurred on the desktop client. I thought the desktop client and the app client were pretty much the same when it came to gameplay. So why isn't that the case? That's interesting. I would love to know the details behind that bug. Maybe it's in the forums. If it is, I might search for it, find it, link it in the description or something. But I kind of doubt it is. So that's interesting. Manectric fixed an issue where players were unable to choose to mulligan during setup if Manectric is the only valid card in hand. Oh, is that Celestial Storm? No way. Manectric. It's not the high speed one, so it's gotta be the Celestial Storm. That is surprising to me, yeah, with the electric start ability. That is surprising to me because I don't expect anyone to be playing expanded on PTCGL. I've heard that people do, but it's not true expanded, so I've never really expected anyone to play expanded on there. That's interesting. Kabu, fixed an issue where this card cannot be played if it is the only card in the hand. Yeah, that kind of defeats the purpose of Kabu. Kabu's the supporter where if you only have one Pokemon play, you should draw shuffle 8. Right? Right? Right. Kabu. Yeah. If it's not your only Pokemon hand, you draw shuffle 4. Or you shuffle draw 4. That's the order. So, okay, yeah, that kind of defeated the purpose of it. So glad that's fixed. Although that might bring rise to the Arcazult. Is that the Pokemon's name? The one fossil dragon that is really just like anti-energy constantly. And if you attack it, you take massive damage sort of thing. Alright, so gameplay / battle. Fixed an issue where highlighting was missing for cards in the discard pile with an ability that can be activated and no rule box. I don't know why the no rule box was added there. Maybe they mean like if Path to the Peak is out or something. That's interesting. Because if there's an ability that can be used from the discard, it needs to be highlighted basically constantly. Although I have noticed that now there are cards showing that they can be used from the discard when I don't have any cards being able to be used from the discard. So that's a new bug that this bug fix introduced. Fixed an issue on the desktop client where certain actions can prevent players from using the end turn or the concede button. Interesting. The only times I've heard that is when the game locked up and no one could play anything or do anything. And, you know, so I wonder what they fixed here, if they actually fixed the issue or if they fixed a symptom of the issue, you know? Ranked ladder. Fixed an issue where ladder reward item images sometimes did not show up when collecting them. I thought we already read that. Tutorial. Fixed an issue where during the tutorial the reconnection window can appear behind certain messages. Reconnection is probably very important. And if that's happening, if you are disconnecting during the tutorial, that's a little weird. But glad that the reconnection window, it will now be in front of all messages, hopefully. And so that way people can reconnect and whatnot. And then general various other fixes and polish. They always throw this at the end, and I really do question, it's not just PTCGL, it is all game patches. They always throw that at the end, like, do you not know what you fixed? Or is it such a minor thing that you're like, oh, we'll just say that? Or is it just like a safety net of like, yeah, we did other things, and people think, oh yeah, they're addressing those issues when they didn't. I don't know. That's a rant for another time, another channel. But those are the patch notes for Pokemon TCG Live 1.3.2. I mean, I didn't point this out before, but it's interesting that Pokemon TCG Live is on version 1 point something when it hasn't fully launched yet. That's just weird. But yeah, what do you think of these fixes? Are you excited for any of them? Or are you just happy to know that work is still being done on Pokemon TCG Live, and one day it might be better than PTCGL? Hopefully. I still think that it is worth it to migrate. I think the card crafting is really worthwhile, but I've already talked to heck about those, so why don't we just end the video here. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what I do here, and as always, keep playing Jank.